Hey, what's going on, Mecha Army? Welcome to the Chad of Mecha livestream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Chad of Mecha. And what's today? Tuesday. I don't know. So, you guys, repping the Mecha Army today. What's up, everyone? Welcome. If you want one of these awesome Mecha Army shirts, you definitely need to go hit up www.chadofmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You will definitely be able to find the Mecha Army shirt, hat, all sorts of other cool stuff in there. Prints, whatever. Go load up. They make great presents for the apocalypse. And if you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we're going to be working with here today, I highly suggest that you hit the Amazon link somewhere down yonder here on YouTube and Twitch and that side, if somewhere if you're watching on Facebook. Bunch of cool stuff in there, tools, materials. They've got we've got books for inspiration, streaming gear. If you want to get into that, now's a good time. I get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it doesn't increase the cost for you, and it goes to help out the stream and all of the stuff that we're about to embark on, right? And as always, if you are interested in kits, tools, paints, accessories, Mecha Decals, sheets 1 and 2, they're in stock and shipping now. I highly suggest that you hit up our good friends right down here, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the fine crew down there will definitely have what you need, right? And Alex Andrews, thank you. Alexa is muted. And I forgot to turn on the monitor here, too. It's been a day. Not a bad day, but it's been a day, right? Now, I saw that our boy Manny is in the chat, and that's actually really good because Manny is an absolute legend. A legend. Because that dude, not only did he go like full on crazy super chat last week, this dude bought and sent me this. Let's get that glare off of there. Look at that bad boy. Yes. For those of you that don't know, that this is the P Bandai Regazi Custom. The original Regazi came out a long time ago. This is the custom. This is the one that like everyone kind of was like clamoring for after the original Regazi kind of came out. Oh yeah, Sam donated too. Sam Mel, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. He put in on this as well. Yeah, Regazi. That's how they pronounce it, Chris Pabs. AK Gundam. Yeah, it's the one with the AK. But yeah. So this one is awesome. The OG Regazi Master Grade was just kind of so-so, right? But they made improvements on this one. Improvements. And I will make further improvements. Yes. Oh, this is awesome. Manny, thank you, brother. I was looking at this a little bit before the stream, and I'm like, yo, this is a really different from the original, like the OG Regazi, right? Like, this is really, really different. Like, especially in the hands and the arms and all that stuff. It's, yeah, they did a bunch of changes from what it looks like on this thing. And I'm gonna have just a shit ton of fun customizing this thing and kind of painting this to how I kind of envision it and would want it, right? Because I'm not a big fan of the green. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the green. And I'm not a fan of the purple on the backpack, and I'm not a fan of the blue. I'm just not a fan of this whole color scheme, to be honest with you. I'm just not. Now, this is an Amuro mobile suit, as indicated by the big, giant scarlet letter A, right? So now I gotta find time to build it. So I don't know. This might very well be our next project. I don't know. Depends on what tickles my fancy after we get done with this SD. But Manny, you sir, you're a legend. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. He says I have mine coming in 2 weeks. Nice. You're gonna like it. It's nice. It's nice. William Wim says he is going to replace the legs with Stein legs. I actually have full-on Stein legs, to be honest with you. It's actually not a bad idea. These would actually look pretty goddamn cool, I'm not going to lie. But I don't know. I don't know. And y'all want to see something super funny? Okay, so check this out, right? So, right there, the ball joint. Or, that deal right there, right? That's actually not the original Stein ball joint. That's not. But it fits real nice, right? And it's got complete twisty clearance and the whole nine. So that joint right there, this part right here, that actually came from a master grade Gelgoog 2.0, right? Some folks were nice enough to send me some scrap pieces from their Gelgoog 2.0, and so this is actually a scrap piece from a set of arms that somebody had sent me, and it looks legit, right? Actually, I think it looks better than the original, but that's just me. Anyway, I digress. Enough with the Stein legs. We're not working on a Stein today, are we? No, we're not, kids. We're not. We're working on the SD. We're going to get back to work on this thing, right? Let's get caught up with the chat just super quick. Yes? Man, a lot of chatting going on here today and over in YouTube land. Let's see. VFX10 Viper, Mr. Josh, he posted his update for his Full Armor Unicorn. If you have not seen that, definitely go hit up his Instagram, VFX10 Viper over there. And man, it's really cool. It's like he's doing full SD. He's not kind of jumping into the high grade kind of bashing thing, but his paint is pretty freaking awesome because it's like pastel purple and a white combination, and it just looks stupid good. And then Pabs posted something, but nobody cares about that, so don't even bother about going to see Chris Pabs. Then I've seen better Sinanjus and better Zeongs. Don't worry about that. Now go look at Pabs' update. It's very good. Yes. Anyway, I kid Pabs. Alexander says, anyone ever had that thing of they have so many custom Gunpla Plamo ideas yet can't do any of them because lack of skills or materials? Because I've got that right now. All the time. All the time. Yeah. All the damn time, dude. Part of my thing is sometimes it's lack of skill, sometimes it's lack of time, sometimes it's lack of materials, and all that good stuff. So, trust me, we all go through that. Every single one of us. Especially when you start thinking like that. That, Alex, is step one. Now it's just basically getting your skill set up, right? So you're at least you're in the right place for that. Robert Cottrell, he's over there in the Mecha Army Facebook group. What's up, Robert? He's holding it down for us, as always. Let's see. Terry T says, I'm constantly in that boat, so I start other simpler projects with aims to learn whatever new skills I need. That way I can apply the new skills to the intended projects. Boom. Exactly, right? Let's see. Alex Andrews, did you have a good walk, Tim? Yes, I did. I woke up early this morning, got out and hit the road for 2 1/3 miles, and decent. Not fast, but decent. Just kind of, it was like a leisurely pace. Actually, no, I wouldn't say leisurely. I mean, I was still walking very fast. And I walk, I don't run, right? Mainly because running is very high impact, especially on your knees and your ankles and stuff like that. And I don't have the best of knees. I don't have bad knees, but I don't have good knees either, right? That's basically what you get for playing sports in high school and stuff like that. You just ruin, with no regard, you ruin your joints and your legs and your body, and it's just bleh. If I knew then what I know now, God, I would have done so much better. Anyway, but yes, it was a good walk. Thank you, Alex. Let's see. Chris Pabs says he lies, Mecha Chat. He lies. Man, Chris Pabs, you lie. Terry T says, next thing I need to learn how to do is to learn how to mold/cast parts. My GBWC idea will require that skill set. I'll have to think of a simple project for me to experiment with. Yeah. Well, you know, the good thing is that, Terry, there might be videos coming out about that. Just saying. He says, Alexander says, I think the simplest part of one of my customs is going to make holsters for pistols on a GBN frame or a GMGM. Nice. Let's see. Ranger Chris says, only suggestion for overabundance of ideas is keep some kind of journal with as much detail as possible so that you can come back to them at a later date and know what you wanted to do. Very, very good idea. I've got so many ideas, it's like even hard to keep a journal, honestly. Because they go in and they go out, and it's just, Anyway. Julio's over there. He says, mad lack of skill for me. Man, just shut up. Just shut up, Julio. He says, what up, Army? What up, dude? Brandon says, Alex, just go for it, man. Don't hesitate. It's only plastic and can be fixed/replaced. I was always hesitant to do anything until watching Tim. Aww. Just take a breath and make the first cut. Yeah. Just cut the damn thing. Right? Just cut it. Screw it. But like Brandon said, I mean, it can be fixed or it can be replaced, right? It's just plastic. It's just plastic. Let's see. Alex says, I want to jump in. It's money right now that's stopping me. Welcome to the club. Excuse me. Let's see. Terry T. Oh, snap. I can't wait. I'm sorry for saying oh, snap. It happens. Let's see. Commissar Stanley's over there on YouTube. He says, dude, GM is awesome. I'm kit bashing it with a GM3 right now. Nice. Mikkel's over there on YouTube. He says, what up, Tim? What up, peeps? What up, Mikkel? It's inside language between me and Mikkel. Trust me. Tashi's over there as well on YouTube. He says, to start, you could use the pistol holsters from the GM Sniper K9 as a base. There you go. Sperion says, casting is fun and surprisingly freeing, realizing you aren't restricted by kit limits anymore. Right? Brandon says, if you're receiving a stimulus check, your account, mine gets deposited tomorrow. Yeah, for the first round of them stimulus checks. And if for some reason that you haven't gotten your pending deposit, the IRS is setting up a tool which should be available by the end of this week, which is on their website, irs.gov, to input your bank information to get your direct deposit. Because if you try and just go check, you'll be waiting for a very long time. Just FYI. But this isn't IRS tax relief information. This is freaking Gunpla modeling. So just wanted to mention that. Anyway, Mikkel says, I see you. Alex Andrews says, I'm getting paid each week on Friday, Brandon, but it's only enough to cover my bills right now. Yeah, we're all kind of there, you know? Let's see. Helsting Oz Unit is over there on YouTube. Do you have any plans for that Deep Striker? Yeah, a lot of plans. Just not the time. Manny says, okay, I was wrong. The Riggsy Custom is coming in Tuesday. Hey, wait. Manny, today's Tuesday. What do you mean next Tuesday? There's a joke there. And I'm not going to say it. Next Tuesday. Yeah, there's definitely a joke there, and we're just going to gloss over that one. Anyway, Alex Andrews says, I'm UK, remember as well. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just speaking for us heathen barbarian Americans here. Brandon says, I plan on stimulating the economy with my Gundam purchases. There you go. Remember, kids, tools. Invest in tools first. Kits are great. Don't get me wrong. Kits are great. But tools make the process way more enjoyable. Just remember that. Tools make the process way more enjoyable. And you can do things with certain tools that you can't necessarily do in other aspects of things. Yeah. Just saying. Let's see. Zero Kai Nathan, he's over there on YouTube. Stimulus check, you mean Gunpla relief check. Whatever it takes. Let's see. Helsting Oz Unit. Retail life is good right now. True. Manny says, I'll gladly pay you next Tuesday for Gunpla of today. Manny, I doubt very, very seriously that many people will understand that and get that reference, but I do. Alex Andrews says, at least I'll have my perfect grade, perfect strike coming within the week, so that'll keep me busy. A bit scared about it, to be honest. Will be my first and probably only perfect grade. Man, perfect grades are just like any other ones. They just have a lot more parts, so dude, don't even sweat it. I mean, trust me. Building Gunpla is like building Legos. If you can follow the damn instructions, then you're good. Let's see. Chris Degger says, Tim the Toolman. Hey. Alexander says, unless we get a perfect grade core Gundam in a planet system armor. There you go. Brandon says, I really want to get 2 master grade Faz Verkaz. Yeah. Zero Kai says, I'm still waiting on my package from USA Gundam. Julio, wimpy ass builders. Nice. Josh Brown, wimpy. Helsting Oz Unit, burgers for Tuesday. Julio says, whoa! Hyper Gamma with the sub. Hyper Gamma. I like that. Welcome to the Mecha Army. You get one of these. Boom. Julio says, be more nervous about a real grade. Yeah. Real grenades. Just trust me. Let's see. Manny says, Illinois. Hey, they got it. I'm surprised more than one got it, honestly. Alexander says, I have such terrible experience with them. Yeah, don't touch real grades. Yeah, real grenades. That's what real grades are. Real grenades. Because they blow up. Anyway, let's get to work. Camera 2, here we go, and we are going to continue working on some of these bits and pieces and this stuff here. Chris Pab says, except for Sazabi. Well, yeah, and the new is probably good too, right? Because they've finally learned their lessons. But whatever, I digress. Excuse me. All right, so let's get you zoomed in. And let's see, what are we going to work on? We're going to continue working on this little guy right here. We got just a little bit more work to do on him to get him kind of up to speed with his twin here. We've got to scribe that line in, and then we've got to just real quickly backfill the backside so that fills in quite nicely, right? We'll do that, and then we'll do a little bit of work here on the crotch unit, and if time permits, we will scribe the top of the knee so that it matches its counterpart here as well. And we'll just kind of take it from there and see what happens. Winging it today. Fast and loose. That's what we're doing today. Fast and loose. So, with that being said, eyes on. Let's go to work, shall we? All right, so we're going to start by scribing that little perimeter scribe underneath. We're going 0.15 for this. And this should be really quick and simple. Let's see, we're just going right around this piece. And I mean, this is just kind of really simplistic stuff here. Now you do want to be careful. There is a small little bevel here at the corners, so you do want to scribe around that. But one of the important things about perimeter scribing, like what we're doing here, is it basically creates a false shadow, a pseudo shadow, if you will. And what's going to happen is when you go to panel line, that panel lining fluid is going to seep into that scribed line, and it's going to cause these two pieces to look like they're completely separated, right? And that's just a really kind of good look, you know, because it makes your project look different from everyone else's. Because unless you're really trying to duplicate somebody else's work, which I don't suggest that you do, yours is going to come out unique, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind. All right, so simple stuff. That is now completely scribed in, and those two pieces now look separate from one another, right? Easy stuff. Easy stuff. Now, we need to start plating the bits around the back side here. So for that, we are going to use super glue, our BSI, and we're going to get our little palette here, and let's see, we need to get some fresh corners here. So what we're going to do, let's do that there, and that way we get a nice fresh clean corner there, right? And we're gonna clip off that corner there as well. Actually, we're gonna just take this down right to there, so that way we got two fresh corners there that we can use as kind of like our little applicator, right? Let's see. Brandon says, damn, man, just got news that my old best friend of 20 years who had falling out with last year, violated probation, just got out of jail today, went right into rehab, looking at 2 years. Wow. Man, I'm sorry to hear that, Brandon. He says, sorry, didn't mean to bring the chat down. Nah, just shocked. Nah, you know what? Don't worry about it, man. That, it's real life, right? These things happen to people, you know? With those types of things, sometimes you have to look at it as a lesson, a life lesson, right? You made the right decisions in life, you know? So, be thankful for that. Be thankful for that. That's all I gotta say. As long as you make the right decisions in life, man, you're good to go. Plain and simple. That's kind of how it is, right? It's kind of how it is. All right. So, where's that other piece? Let's see. Did I put on 1/4 or 1/2 millimeter? That is 1/4 millimeter that I put on there. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we put a little bit of super glue on our little scrap piece of plastic there that works as our palette. We're gonna dip our little applicator, little makeshift applicator in the glue. We're just gonna apply liberally to that front section there, right? And we're gonna clip off just a small piece of plastic and just simply apply that right to the surface. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. And then what we'll do is we'll clip that overhang off there. Press that into place as much as we possibly can. And we're just basically continuing to wrap, focus, there we go. Continuing to wrap this plastic around these features on this thing. That's all we gotta do. That's all we gotta do, right? Fairly simple stuff. But it makes a huge world of difference. Okay, just like that. And then I'm not even going to cut this piece off the strip. I'm just going to lay it right into the glue. And now that's held in place and set up. Clip that off a little bit there. And that looks really good. Done deal. All right. Now, this is what? 3.2 or is this 4? Let's see. Yeah, see, that's 3.2. We're going to grab a 4 by quarter because that's going to give us a little bit more working room. So this looks like 4 right here, and it is good. All right, so this is what we're going to use. We're going to use 4 by 1/4 millimeter. All right. So we're going to continue applying little bits of super glue to this surface here. Just like that. And again, we're just going to pop this piece right onto the glue, right? We're not even going to worry so much right now about trimming it back. Now once it's connected, once it's attached there, then we can take our nippers and just easily clip that back, right? Alright, so we've got a little bit of overhang still right there with that piece. So I'm going to come in ever so gently to not pop the glue on this. And we're going to come back and trim this piece right here. To the same level as the part. There we go. And now we can glue down the piece rather than having to fit a really small piece underneath of the overhang. Okay. Just like that. Ah, come on now. Alright, let's get a little bit more glue on there because it's obviously not holding the way that we want it to. Okay. All right. I'll hold it there for just a few seconds until that glue grips, and there it is. And clip that strip off of there. Make sure that's all pushed down onto the piece, right? All right. And now last but not least, we need a 1mm by 1/4 millimeter strip, and this looks like it right here. We're just going to lay that right down there. So we're just going to clip off a small piece of this because we don't need a ton, right? And let's see, let's get that in the tweezers there. One more little drop of super glue. Let's get our little applicator loaded up here. Okay, and we just lay this little guy right in place. Just like that. And then we can come back, clip off these little ends, and we're going to hit everything here with a little drop of our Instaset, and we're going to let that sit for just a few seconds. Let's get caught up with the chat while we do that, yeah? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Where do we leave off? Bro Builder, Brian. He says, keeps the insomnia away at my end, right? He says, hi, everybody. What's up, Brian? For those of you that don't know, Brian is going to be streaming tonight on his channel. Go check him out. Bro Builder, that's his YouTube channel. Brian, tonight is, what, you and Paul, I think, right? And give him the time, Brian. What is it, 8 o'clock? 8 p.m. Eastern, I think? So go check out Brian at, I think at 8 p.m. tonight. Wow, yeah. Let's see. Chris Pab says, speaking of building, the SD CS Sinanju just got its final layer of primer. Yeah? Final. Chris Pab says, I believe that was layer 11 or 12. Christ, Pabs. Brian says, I'm setting up another round of color swatches. Nice. Brian says, bleh. Pab says, Brian and I treat every build like a GBWC build out here. You crazy. Let's see. William Wilms over here on YouTube. He says, very nice, Pabs. I had my money on 19 rounds of primer. Pab says, you still might win. I just put down initial primer on the Neo Xeon. I already see issues. Huh. William Wilms. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Stop. Nice. Fudaboy says, Pabby has 96 layers of primer to go. 96 is excessive, Pabby says. Yeah. Brandon says 9 p.m. If I remember correctly. Yeah, it's either 8 or 9, but yeah, go check out Brian, our boy, Mr. Bro Builder, and I think tonight is the one with Paul, where him and Gumble Paul stream together. So go check those boys out over at Bro Builder's channel, definitely. All right, so we've got this thing. It should be all cured at this point. Just hit it with a little bit of Instaset, so this should all be set up and good. Now we can just come in, trim both sides, and we should almost be good to go. Now, since this is 1/4 millimeter, this should trim down just real easily. Maybe 1 or 2 passes at most. And that super glue, again, just fills in all the little minuscule gaps really nicely. All right, so this side, done. We're done. This side, let's start on the opposite end and just kind of push through here. And that looks pretty good after 1 pass. Let's get 1 more. And that looks good there. And now we just have to trim up and clean up the glue squeeze out and the different angles and stuff like that. So let's address the bottom here first. Get that nice and trimmed with the bevel and everything. That looks good there. And then get this glue squeeze out, trimmed up. Really good. And the top little bump out part here. Good there. Let's turn this sucker around. Let's get the other side done. Just like that. And last but not least, we're just going to get this back end corner here. And essentially what we're doing, we're just cleaning the glue off of this surface and everything, right? We're just cutting that with the level of the surface, right? Simple stuff. Simple stuff, but damn, if I could hold this thing, that would be great. And here we go. All right, so we're gonna hit this with just a little bit of sanding on the top of this little bump out here. That looks nice. And with our snazzy new little MDF sanding blocks that we showed yesterday. And that piece looks really quite nice. Let's compare the two. And there we go. Perfect. All right, so let's get this popped into the piece itself here. And let's see how that looks. Good there. Good there. And let's see. Get this into one of the legs. And then we can really see if our work did the trick. Yeah. Very nice. Kind of hard to see, but you can see where all of this filled in back, all this material that we filled in there looks super, super nice, right? Just looks finished. So let's get these pieces off the leg, put the leg back over here because I still need to work on the leg a little bit. But yeah, this looks quite nice. So we can kind of move on from this, right? And just kind of put that off to the side. Now we can kind of turn our attention back to this upper knee piece here, right? And we're just going to scribe this. This is very kind of simple stuff. But we need to mimic and duplicate the design on the original upper knee part here that we did. So with that, we're going to put our super glue back over here because we're not going to need that hopefully anymore for right this second. But what we will need is our little 2.0 little scribing jig, right? And let's see, let's get some lines drawn so that we kind of know where to mark things and all that good stuff, right? Right there. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Okay. And let's see, where's the distance between the edge of this piece here and this line should be about 2.5. Yeah, dead on 2.5. Good. So, what we need to do is we need to cut a small piece of Dymo at about 2.5 millimeters, right? Let's see. Brandon's got a great question.
We have a question.
There we go. Brandon says, MDF sanding blocks, aren't you worried about them getting wet? I know MDF just soaks up moisture and doesn't hold up great. Yeah, and like some of the guys in the chat have mentioned, what I went ahead and did, focus, there we go, is coated this entire thing on all sides, even the side underneath of here, coated this in super glue. Just a very, very thin coat, spread that out and everything, sanded that down to a nice 600 finish, so this is super smooth and impermeable to water, right? At least I would never try to wet sand with one of these blocks, I'll be honest with you, because you're inviting trouble. Because what if it gets through the super glue, then like what Brandon had mentioned, MDF soaks up moisture like a sponge and it just goes. So yeah, these are strictly for dry sanding, but just little drops of water and stuff like that here and there, totally not worried even a little bit. Alright, so we want 2.5, right? 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Let's go. Actually, we have a 2.5 strip over here, right? I think this is the 2.5 right here. It is. All right, cool. So we have this 2.5 strip that we used last night on the RX's new shield, right? Let's get the debris off the blade. And so we're going to use that as our guide. And we're going to lock that in. Good to go there. We don't need the L square anymore. And what we do actually need is our Dymo tape. Let's get the one roll that we're actually kind of working on here. And let's see, we're going to square up that end. Get that out of here, throw that away. Pop that over to the stop block, cut a piece, and there's our 2.5 millimeter piece, right? So let's measure this just to see. And that's coming in almost 3 millimeters. So we're gonna have to back that down just a little bit. So let's back that down a little. Let's cut another piece just to be on the safe side. Okay, let's measure this now and see. That looks a little bit better. That's sitting at about 2.7 now. Let's check the piece just to see. Yeah, see, that's still too wide. Move that over a little bit more. Actually, what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab the 2mm. We're gonna use that as a starting off point, because I do find that there is a bit of space, just a hair of space, between the blade and our gauging, our gauging strip, right? So this should be closer to where we need it to be. And yeah, I know it's hard to see on screen, but you can kind of see there it says 2.52. That is where we want it, right? That's where we want it. Anyway, let's put that off to the sides, everything like that. Yeah, Alex Andrews says, I still see you didn't change the batteries in the caliper, Tim. Yeah, it's light, but I can see it. So, as long as I can see it, that's what matters, right? Yeah. Hi, Craig. Mr. Colin, he's with us over there on YouTube. What's going on, man? If you guys didn't see, Colin printed out like a full-on set of scribing jigs, right? And I'm going to tell you what, they look pretty cool. Not even going to lie. They look pretty damn cool. Now, Colin, the one thing that I would suggest is if you're going to print those off, the angle ones, the ones with a 45 degree, make the bottom a T instead of an L. That way you don't have to print twice. You don't have to print, twice the number. And the person can just flip them over and have the same thing on either side. So here, this is what I'm talking about. See that? How it looks like a T? That way you can flip it on either side and it'll be identical. Try that. Try that. Dave Hurt says, just finished printing mine. They look good. Yeah, they look good in the picture, didn't they? He says, yeah, I thought about that. Problem is, it creates supports and it's not smooth. Ah, really? Interesting, okay. Even with the T at the bottom of the plate? Huh. Weird. Anyway, that would be, that's just kind of like my suggestion. I don't know. Alrighty then. With that being said, let's get this scribed in. Right about there. And let's see. We're gonna need 0.15 again. Alright, so 2mm scribing jig right up against the butt. What do I have on my elbow? I don't know. Oh, shit. put my elbow down on the super glue palette. Thankfully, it was all dry, but still. Anyway. Just like that. Get that line set in here. Reinforce that, and then let's readjust the dymo. Now we're probably going to have to cut multiple pieces of this, right? Because we are going to need to mark this. Let's see how far we go up on this guy. We go up 4 millimeters. Okay. So let's do a bit of measuring here. Okay, get rid of that little piece of dymo and connect these two lines here real quick. And there we go. All right, good. Now, to get this horizontal line here, we used a scribing jig, and I think that's 4 millimeters if I'm not mistaken, but we'll see here in just a moment. Could be 3.2, or it could be 4.8. Actually, you know what? I was coming in from the wrong side. Nope, that's 3.2 from the other side here. There we go. I was coming in on this side when it actually measured from this side, right? But yeah, so that's 3.2 across there. So we're going to cut that in real quick and get that horizontal line. There we go. And now that way, we can simply connect these 2 points, this point here and the point that's coming around that curve, right? And hell, for that, we can just kind of eyeball it if we really need to. Just like that. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Connect those 2 lines. Reinforce that a little bit. Let's do a little bit of A little bit of cleanup sanding here on the sides. And then that should be good to go there. Chris Pabs, yeah, disclaimer, don't try this at home, kids. Don't until you get skillful with the chisel, don't raw dog it. Don't freehand it. Just use tape or a guide or something like that. I've been using these things for years. I'm a trained professional, folks. Don't you worry about that none. Anyway, okay. Let me tell you why I'm laughing here.
We have a question.
Mr. Bill Ruslam says, Tim, do you think those angle guides with some double-sided tape would be an asset for scribing? Yeah, actually I do. That's a really great idea there, Bill. 100%. Especially when you need a certain angle, right? Absolutely 100% I do. Yeah. Let's see. Did we miss anything else? No questions? No, I think we're good. All right, cool. Excuse me. Chris Pab says an Elgu Mars is like $250 these days. Ridiculously reasonable with the current situation. Yeah, no, it really is. And that was before the Rona. The Elgu Mars is just like a phenomenal deal. Like it's almost stupid not to have one, and I hate saying that because you guys know how I feel about 3D printing and everything, but it definitely 3D printing definitely has its merits, right? Outside of the hobby, I mean, it's an amazing wonder of technology. Rapid prototyping like never before. That's a huge thing. So, and even inside the hobby, like with Colin's scribing jig designs and stuff like that, and then his little jig to make the vents and everything, like it definitely absolutely 100% has its uses. Just don't print parts and apply it to your models when you're trying to enter GBWC. That's all I'm saying. William says, you feel that way now? Shut up, Will. I still say it's cheating on a freaking model. Shut your face. Jesus. But making tools and stuff? No, I think that's kind of a brilliant idea, actually. I'm just... What? Nothing wrong with making tools to make your life easier. I make my own tools all the time. Hey. Hey. Right here. All these little guys, right? Come on now. That's what you got to do sometimes, right? Ranger Chris says, only problem I see with the Mars is that it uses a single rail for the Z-axis, could cause stability problems on some prints. I don't know what that means, but I agree. Manny says, wait, Tim wants a 3D printer? No, I do not. Because I do not want a 3D printer because I don't have the time to learn 3D software. I don't have the time to invest in it, especially right now. So no, I absolutely do not, in any way, shape, or form, want a 3D printer. No. No. I will say that repeatedly. No. Look at that. Chris Pab says, send it to me instead, Manny. Chris, you suck ass. Ugh. Alright. Let's get some Dymo tape on there. Get our spacing and our measurements lined up. That looks good there. Let's get our 2mm scribing jig pulled back in here. And let's go to work. Whoops, don't do that. Don't do that. That's mean. There we go. Alright, now we're in good shape. Alright. Perfect. I think the hardest part about scribing is actually cutting and laying down the tape. I just that's what it seems. That's the part for me that just takes the longest, is the layout of everything. The actual act, the process, everything is just it. The actual work of laying down a scribe line, it just doesn't really, I don't know. It doesn't take that long. Okay. Okay. So, let's see. All right. So that we got our two lines there. Let's get rid of that little Dymo tape and let's raw dog this line here, shall we? Oh, good if I was actually on the screen here, yeah? Okay. Alrighty then. There we go. Let's get some a little sanding, a little cleanup sanding on this side here. Focus. There we go. All right. So, last but not least, there's the sides. Those two sides looking pretty good, looking pretty even enough. It's an SD build. I'm not gonna sweat it, right? Excuse me. Let's get caught up just real quick. see. Fudabe always says, 3D print your own hummingbird at home, kids. Don't do that. Please don't do that. That would just be downright mean. Yeah, I think it would. Chris Pab says the Mars Z-axis is the weakest point, but it's so freaking sturdy. He said I wouldn't worry about it. William Williams says, Ranger, I have more issues with forgetting to tighten the screw on the plate. Let's see. Colin, Mr. Hi Craig says, Chris, I have really cool 3D printing sanding blocks with my HC logo inset and sanded to a mirror finish. Nice. Brandon says, I want a 3D printer for my little side gig to help fund my hobby. There you go. Stanley says, these are some big boy words getting thrown around. Alex Andrews said, should have seen Mechanism last week, Stan, right? Julio says, 5-cent words. There you go. Artisanal. William Williams says, Brandon, you will need to spend money to make money. Ain't that the fucking truth? Chris Pab says, real talk though, 3D printing is a great tool to have. 3D modeling takes a while to learn, and there's a lot of facets within that skill set. But it's so handy for so many things. True. Steve Ricketts over there on Facebook, he's got a question.
We have a question.
Hey-o. He says, what headset do you use? This right here, this is an Optivisor. Right there. Optivisor, made in the USA. Focus. There we go. By Donegan Optical. Right there. Donegan. These are great. These are kind of the OG magnifying visors, right? These have been around for years and years and years, used by jewelry professionals, electronics pros, all sorts of people that need to focus on very, very fine work. These are wonderful. They're a little on the expensive side. These, I think, set me back about $50 a few years ago. The lens is completely replaceable and swappable. I think this one is 3.5x, but I think that goes up to 4, if I'm not mistaken. And you can buy other magnification plates and stuff like that to swap them in. But Steve, if you're interested in picking one of these guys up or kind of a more inexpensive version, check my Amazon link. It's going to be on that side over yonder on Facebook. If you're got it blown up and everything, but it's in the description. It's the Amazon link. Tools for scale modeling, that's where you're going to find this and a bunch of other stuff. So hit that up if you're interested in picking one of these up. So that's what I use. Anywho, Chris Pab says, do it for work as Julio, and it's definitely an asset. Yeah. William Williams says, I just play with the Tinker Card website. There you go. Chris Pabs says, I make spin shoes. You're a geek, Pabs. Hi, Craig. Mr. Collins says, I have 3D modeled parts to get scope and size, then use the model to scratch build the part. Yeah. That, making jigs and stuff like that, I don't have a problem with. Not even a little bit. Not a bit. Julio says, animation. You go hard, Chris. Hello. Nice. Mr. Ruslan Bill says, I have never messed with CAD software. I was supposed to learn it at one point for work, but things changed. Brandon says, always wanted to learn 3D modeling. Yeah. Chris Pab says, LOL, Julio, that video is up now. Go to Boomba Inc. on Instagram. Whatever that is, I don't know. Julio says, yeah, it's all sorted now. Thanks, Bill. Nice. Dave Hurt says, Fusion 360, it's free for hobbyists, and there are a ton of free videos online. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot. I missed Bill's comment. He says, "Hey Julio, you finally got a hold of unemployment." Yeah. Julio says as soon as they upgraded the system, it got smoother. Yeah. Same thing here in Maryland because it just went poo poo. But they upgraded it here recently. I think Google's playing a big part in trying to help the states out and everything. So that's good. Yeah. Let's see. Commissar Stanley says I was there at Mechanism. It was truly a meeting of the minds, right? Bill says I need to order some pen blanks to try making some good handles for my BMC chisels. Ooh, you gonna turn them and everything, Bill? Like those could be really nice. I'm not gonna lie. Chris Pab says I was also there. Nice. Alexander says no, you weren't, Pabs. Don't lie. No, actually, he was there. He was in the green room a lot, but yes, Pabs was there. Steve Ricketts over on Facebook. He wants to know what mag do you use? Yeah, they're 52 on Amazon. Oh, thanks. So he saw the spiel. So cool. Yeah, 3.5 magnification for this one. And yeah, 52. That sounds about what I paid for these when I first got them. Years ago. But yeah, they're great to have. I put them on every single time I sit down to the bench. They're just a natural extension of my eyesight and everything at this point. They're absolutely crucial for working in very, very small details. So yeah, these are well worth their weight in gold. Excuse me. Let's see here. Ranger Chris says, won't lie, I think I have one of those visors that I got for free as a raffle prize. Hey, whatever works, right? Bill says, Hulu, even people with jobs can't necessarily work, but you hang in there. After this pandemic ends, there will be tons of jobs out there. God, I hope so. I really do hope so. Maybe my job will come back. I don't know. I don't want to necessarily hold my breath. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Bill says, I only know of a couple places hiring right now. I know Lockheed is hiring thousands of people. Maybe check their website if you want. Interesting. Sam L says, Bill, how would you hold the chisel in? I think I have some blanks laying around. Commissar Stanley says, Pabs gets the blue ribbon for showing up to practice. Stanley, be good. Steve Ricketts over there on Facebook, he says, just getting back into building, extra time and all. Yeah, dude, we all have a lot of extra time right now, don't we? Chris Pab says, anytime it's that combination of people on the show, expect to be in the green room a lot. Yes, I know. B takes over the show whenever she's on. She's just so damn entertaining. Like, I can't help it. It's like a train wreck, but in a good way. B is the best train wreck in the world. Love her to death. But yes, it basically becomes B-ism. So, but this week will be nothing but DMC, especially for Pabs and Brian, because I know you guys were kind of, pushed off and we're a bit perturbed that we didn't have a little DMC. So it's gonna be all DMC this Friday. All DMC. Yeah. Pab says I don't drink usually on the show. Yeah. Ranger Chris says, just check. I think it's the same model you have, Tim. Oh, this one. Yeah, this is just called the Optivisor. There's no model on this or anything. It's just Optivisor. So I guess they just make one model. I don't know. Anyway, Chris Pab says, LOL, I'm not even mad at it. She deserves all the time, right? Who says, we ain't doing DMC. We're going to get drunk and do shit. Nice. Alex Andrews, DMC? Demonetized Mecha channel. No. Deep, meaningful conversation. So that's what DMC stands for. We're gonna go DMC this Friday. Yeah. try to get conversations started. Let's see. Bill says, Sam, I was thinking of using a screw bolt at the top to put pressure on the chisel and hold it in place. Gotcha. You could always use like a little shim or something like that too, Bill. Just kind of, wedge that between the handle and the chisel. Just an idea. Let's see. William Williams says, Julio, you just put yourself in the green room with that comment. Nah. Tashi says, all DMC? So we finally getting that Royal Guard only run? I'm lost on that. I'm sorry. Tashi, that just went right over my head. Let's see. Bill says there are other options. I would just have to play around and figure it out. Right. Brandon says, see some of you later on Brian's stream. Got to get back to work. Brandon, thanks for watching. Chris Pabs, later Brandon. Hulu says, who's the Royal Guard? Yeah, I don't know. Foodie always says, drunk men criticize. Well, it's not always just men. There's some drunk ladies on the show as well. Trust me. Brandon says, shim and epoxy, Bill. Nice. Chris Pabs says, what's Royal Guard? I don't know either. I'm kind of lost. I'm waiting for Tashi to kind of go a little bit deeper in detail. All right. 4:30. Let's get back to it. Yeah? Because we got a notch, horizontal focus, horizontal notch right there to pop in, right? So, if I'm not mistaken, I used, what did I use? 2mm on both sides? Yeah, 2mm is our guide. And then kind of, what was that? 0.6, I think, for that notch. Yeah, 0.6. All right. So we used our 2mm scribing jig, right? And we did under. So we basically just took this and I used the chisel and I just kind of made a mark right where that scribing jig hit, right? And then I flipped it around, did the same thing on the other side. And then there's our demarcation points, our starting and stopping points, right? Now, we get these kind of deeper inset into the plastic, and then we can grab our 3.2mm scribing jig again, hold that in place, and then we can just kind of scribe point to point here. Let's see if that'll focus in a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see those 2 points there. Anyway, we'll go just super light from start to stop here. And then once we have that groove set in there, we'll start to apply a little bit more pressure. And I just kind of blew past that end point because it ramped on me. Ain't that a son of a bitch? Well, it just goes to show you kids that it happens to the best of us. So, spin this around and get that debris out of there. That's not even I'm not even really concerned with that at this point, mainly because we can just sand that down nice and smooth, feather it in, and you'll never see that, right? So it's not a huge deal. But it just goes to show you, ramping does happen to all of us. That's why it's important. Clean out the debris from your scribing and notching. Okay. Now we're just insetting the two sides here, right? Just reinforcing the notch on both ends. Okay. Just flatten that out now. And we're almost good. All right, let's get that little bit out of there and inspect our work. Looks pretty good. Let's get a little cleanup sanding right in here. Try to feather that little mistake in there. Very nice. Let's get our little sanding block here, and we can just do a little bit of this. Yep, completely made that disappear. And there we go. Done deal. Matching set. Easy. Easy, easy, easy stuff. Easy stuff. Chris Pab says, Tim, is the sandpaper on that block replaceable? Yes, it is. The awesome part about putting super glue all over this is that, and sanding it down, is that it makes it super smooth. So you can just peel up the side of this, and you can replace the sandpaper, you can replace the double-sided tape, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, these are worth their weight. Worth their weight. All right, so let's get these pieces popped back onto their respective knee assemblies here. And let's take a looky look here. Let's see, how do those look together? Yeah, those look pretty damn even. Good there. Good there. All right, rocking. Easy. Easy peasy. Hell yeah. Let's see. Let's get caught back up just real quick. Let's see. Bill says, I thought about the shim and pressure fit, but wasn't sure it was the best method. Yeah. Just an idea, right? Persistent Turtle. There's Lucas. He says, Happy Tim's Tools, Tips, and Tricks Tuesday. Try saying that a few times fast. Holy shit. Bill says, I don't have access to a lathe at the moment, so I was just hoping to make them with hand tools. Ah, gotcha. Sam L says, I have some scraps laying around I might be able to test out. My main concern is going to be that turning it small enough for it to be comfortable is going to make it brittle on the lathe. Possible. It's possible. Honestly, you guys could always maybe get like resin cutoffs or something like that, you know? Just, you know, like resin blanks. That way, I don't know, I mean, that way I don't think it would be nearly as brittle as some of the wood species. So, just an idea. Just an idea. Let's see. Chris Pab says, cool. Jesus. Julio says, I think Avenir gonna be my 2020 font, LOL. Bruh. Julio. Just... Avenir? Are you... Really? Really? He says, maybe Comic Sans. Yeah? Comic Sans, huh? Why not just use Papyrus? Yeah, see? You motherfucker, you said, yeah. Same damn time. Why not just use Papyrus? You jerk off. Yeah, Chris Pab says he's trying to hurt us, right? Yeah, and Bill, Bill makes a good point, Julio. Julio gonna make his own font. That's what I told you from the damn beginning, is make your own font and sell that shit. Font maker, dude, if you make a good font, like a good headline font or a good body copy font, you can make some dough. I'm not gonna lie to you. They make some good money. Font makers make some good money. And then you just keep churning them out. It's tedious as hell. Don't get me wrong. But they make good money. I'm telling you. Dave Laloya? God, I hope I'm saying that right, Dave. Sorry. See, he says, Trolling Tim should be the new name of this stream. Nah, they're not trolling. We talked about this on the after party. And, yeah. There you go. Chris Pab says, call it Chooch font. Chooch. Choochier. Instead of Avenir, it's a Choochier. Yeah. There you go. Chooch off. God. Dude, yeah. At least do something like classic. Like Gotham or Futura. Like, those are classic. Gotham and Futura, you can never go wrong with for headlines and just call outs and stuff, man. Like, yeah. Chooch bold. Chooch italic. And then you get the different weights. Chooch thin. Chooch light. Jesus. Different Chooch weights. Chooch 600, Chooch 700, Chooch 800, 900. God. Chris Pab says Futura is timeless. Dude, it really is. Gotham's the same way. And honestly, the most timeless one, a font typeface out there, let's be honest, Helvetica. Used right, you can't go wrong with it. And mind you, yes, this is coming from a graphic designer and everything like that. So you guys that aren't into graphic design, I know you're just kind of whatever, phasing out, but still. Yeah. Bill says Romans. You have to be careful with Romans because it's either good as a headline, but it's tricky with the serifs. Serifs are great in print. Serifs are not great on screen. Just FYI. Persistent Turtle says, font made by Julio, spelling the letters out in yoga-like poses. Jesus. See, when Julio makes his own font, it's going to be all kinds of wacky. right? Like, his A will actually be like C, and his B will be like F. And you go to spell something out, and it's complete fucking gibberish. That's going to be Julio's font. Julio, there you go. There's your idea. Done. Done. It's just a trolling font. That's all it is. Just a troll. I think it'd be funny as hell. Call it April Fools or something like that, right? Yeah. Mouth will look like mouth. There you go. Wing doos. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, man. Chris Pab says, overused. Yeah, but yes, Helvetica is so easy on the eyes. Yeah, because it's the weight and spacing and kerning and everything is just so timeless. Yeah. Bill says, I use Romans and Times all the time for work. They and Calibri are go-tos. I mean, in a Microsoft Word environment, or a Microsoft Office for that matter, yeah. Now, mind you, for graphic design, then sky's the limit, right? Anyway, enough font talk. This is not the font live stream with, graphic designers and shit. This is Child of Mecha live stream. Chooch black letter. Holy shit. Chooch copper plate. Chooch slab. Oh. And I know, like, 3/4 of the audience doesn't have a fucking clue what the hell we're talking about. Oswald, Chris Pab says Oswald and the Google font family ain't half bad. No, Oswald is great. Oswald is great. Oswald, Monsterot, which is almost a Gotham clone. Yeah, those are great. And they're free to use commercially. Yeah. Fudube always says, child of fonts now. Tim is making font modifications to his SD. Yeah, right? Oh, man. Not quite, though. Not quite. All right, so let's focus now on this this crotch piece here, because I want to do just a little bit more little greeblies on this thing. Nothing crazy. I'm thinking maybe one of these. Oh, maybe one of these, or maybe one of these. That's not bad. That little rectangular cross plate. That's not bad. Or I was thinking maybe one of these. One of these guys. Not bad. It's a bit big. Kind of like that. Yeah, let's go with that. I like that look. Alright. Toss those off to the side. And let's trim this thing. This little piece here. Let's trim this up a little bit. Come on. There we go. Woo! Almost dropped it. Almost dropped it. That would have been bad. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Alright, so put that little guy, come on, face up. There we go. Put that little guy face up there, right? And we're going to grab our little super glue palette. Put a little drop of super glue there. And let's see, we're going to Stab this little guy right there, kind of in the corners and stuff. Load the back of this up with super glue, and then we're gonna pop this right here on the very back edge of this piece. There we go. Now we got a lot of super glue squeeze out here, so try our best to clean that up here, or at least spread it out so it's not as terrible as it could be, right? But here's that little greebly right there. That looks pretty good. I'm fairly happy with that at this point. Now, I do want to do just a quick little detail right there, right on the front edge of this, right? Let's see, that is 4 mil wide. So I'm thinking right about there is the middle. It's pretty much dead on. All right, good. So what we'll do is we'll get a little piece of Dymo tape here now, and we're just gonna scribe in a kind of just a floating notch here. Back of the tape peeled off. Grab that little strip of Dymo and pop that right up against that mark that we did. Right now, we're gonna go 0.60 for this, right? Let's double check that this is straight, right? Just like that. There we go. All right. And if this doesn't work, we can just fill it in with super glue, so it's not a big deal. We're just like a 2 millimeter or so floating notch here, right? Maybe 3. Now the thing with a floating notch like this is that you got to be careful. Location is everything. Alignment is crucial, and your starting and stopping points are very important in terms of cleanliness. Your corners need to be super sharp, and your front and back of your notch needs to be sharp and square as well, right? If it's not, it just looks kind of sloppy and bad. Okay. And then just go back and forth, forming this notch in here, leveling everything out at the bottom. Alright, and get that debris out of there. Let's get a little finished sand on here. And let's inspect our work. That looks pretty damn straight to me. Pretty doggone centered. Yeah. Not bad. Not too bad. Anywho. Alright. So, last little bit here. This top part should be... Yep, that glue should be cured. Let's get that cleaned up and trimmed back. So we're doing our vertical cuts on all sides first, right? Front, back, two sides. And then we can go in and trim that off the surface. You want to do your vertical cuts first so you don't lift the piece accidentally. Because trust me, I've done that plenty of times before. And that's a heartbreaker, especially when you got perfect positioning and all of that for, you know, one of these little pieces. It's just demoralizing. And then hell, sometimes if you're really SOL, the whole piece will just pop off. Whoops. Into the ether, and it's gone forever, right? Alright, so we've got that trimmed very nicely. We're just going to do a quick little outline scribe around this piece just to make it look a little separated from the rest. Okay. All right, very good there. Now, one last little bit that I'm going to do. Just two teeny tiny little notches right up against this this piece. And that's going to catch your panel lining fluid. Just give a nice little hint of mechanical detail right there, right? And that's just going to look good. It's just going to look good. Yeah. We're just, since these two notches are so tiny, maybe, I don't know, 3/4 millimeter in overall length by 0.3 millimeter wide. You're going to need to clean out the, the debris and everything in your notch and your line often. I think that should just about do it here. There we go. Yeah. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. That's a very nice look. All right, let's get some chisel discipline going on here. Bada boom, bada bing. Put those off to the side. Let's get super zoomed in, and then we're going to catch up with a chat one last time, and then we're going to check out for the day. Let's do this super zoom here right quick, though. Okay. Here's our piece. Let me get that focused for you guys. There we go. And you can see how nicely centered that middle notch there is. I think that looks really, really good. And then right there on top, you can see the little hints of those little notches right there in front of that piece. And then of course that piece is outline scribed and all that, and that just all looks like a really quite nice piece there. And then there's the box scribe and outline and the notch that we did there over the weekend. So overall, pretty dang happy with that. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. All right, so with that being said, let's get caught up in the chat, shall we? Because I know there's a few questions that have been asked in the chat that we need to get to here. So, let's see. Foodie Bear always says, "God, digging through free fonts is the worst." Sometimes just was reminded of that. Yeah, dude, free fonts suck. Like if you go through like dafont.com, it's the worst. There's so much crap on there. You gotta take time and form your fonts, just like anything, just like any artwork, right? Google Fonts is great because it's curated. Adobe Typekit is obviously really good because that's curated by Adobe folks, but you're gonna pay for those. Well, not Google, but still. Sparion says pen resins are easy to work by hand and power tool friendly. So there you go. Yeah. Bill says, anyone else having trouble keeping the inner 8-year-old silent with Tim's commentary? I mean, what are you gonna do? Crotch piece, little guy, face up, just a little drop. Yeah, well, get your mind out of the gutter, Bill. He says, I'm keeping silent, but yeah, it is there. Yeah. What are you going to do, right? Let's see. Julius has a question.
We have a question.
He says, how would you give a floating notch rounded ends? Very, very good question. And actually, it's easier than you think. Start your end point, your starting point and your ending point with a drill bit. Just drill, slightly drill in a hole, and then using the same width of chisel, just lay your guide tape right at the edges of those two holes, and then connect the 2 points, and that's how you make a rounded, those two rounded ends. So that's actually pretty easy when you think about it, right? So, but that's a good question, though. That's actually a really good question. Bill says, just use a circle cutter on both ends and chisel between them. I think he meant like a floating notch. So doing like a circle cutter would be not feasible, unfortunately. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. Julie says, like those photo etch or God hand circle cutters. Bill says yes, or just a very shallow drill. The drill bit doesn't have a flat bottom, but the chisels can help fix that. Oh, you mean okay. Circle cut. Those. Okay. No, I know what you mean. These. I'll go back to camera 2 here, and we'll have to get out of super zoom. But I know what you're talking about, Bill. Sorry. When I think of a hole cutter or a circle cutter, I completely think of something different. So here, let's go back to camera 2. These guys right here. These are the God hands. These are basically, they're called spin chisels. And you put them into a pin vise, and it creates a flat bottom circular notch or whatever, right? Now, when I think circle cutter, I think of one of these guys right here. This is more of your, traditional circle cutter, right? It's basically like a compass style circle cutter, and this is great for creating circular masks and stuff like that. So sorry, Bill. That's when you said circle cutter, I was more onto that than these guys here. These are just okay, right? These don't have the little spike in the middle. Those help steady the chisels in the middle. These kind of flop around if you're not kind of careful and all that, but your mileage may vary. So, but yeah, that's another way to do it too. Mind you, the smallest notch you're going to be able to make is a 1 millimeter with these, because these go 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5 up to 3 millimeters. So I don't think you're going to have much bigger than a 1 millimeter floating notch like that, like the one we put in here on the crotch piece. Yes, I said crotch piece. Was 0.6 millimeter, right? So if you wanted the two ends to be rounded, yeah, I would just start with a drill bit, a 0.6 millimeter drill bit, and connect the two. So, yeah. So anyway, let's see. Dave Lilloy. Again, I hope I'm saying that right, Dave. He says, what chisels does Tim use? William Williams correctly said BMC. Yes. He says, thanks. Putting together my BD list. There you go. Bill says he uses BMC chisels, but you can also rely on MadWorks. Absolutely. Both are great. Yes. MadWorks are slightly less expensive, but swapping between chisels is more difficult, especially if you have fewer handles. The handles for the BMCs, these are like $4 to $6 depending on where you get them, and then you can do like 3D printed DIY and stuff like that. The thing I like is that these have a cap on them, so this is its own storage unit, and I just get a bunch of chisels and stuff like that and kind of tack that onto the cost of the chisels, and it just equals out. So, but yeah, I use BMCs. That's what I like. Bill says yes, and if you need something to work until you get some chisels, there are some easy options that work as well. Yeah, the back of a hobby knife, right? It's kind of where I started, where a lot of people started with scribing and stuff like that. Now, mind you, you're not going to be able to do notches nearly as easy as you can with chisels, but you might be able to kind of makeshift something Yeah, the back end of a hobby knife is perfect for getting the technique down and all that good stuff too. So, yeah. Let's see. Commissar Stanley's got a question.
We have a question.
He says, have you ever had a kit where you felt that the panel lines and details were perfect or already good enough? If so, how would you continue to improve it? No. I have never had a kit that's been detailed to my preference. Let's put it that way. Never, ever, 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 ever. Never, ever. I mean, from the beginning, I've always kind of added detail, right? Even in, like, my first models, I always tried to do something extra, right? So yeah, I've actually never run into a model that's like perfect out of the box like that. It doesn't happen for me. Simply because I want my models to be unique. Just one of those things, right? So, Manny says, you mean the God Hand spin blades? Yeah, the spin blades, spin chisels, whatever you call them. Yeah. Bill says, yeah, I couldn't recall the correct terminology. Yeah. Ronald J. Shelton, he's got a question over there on YouTube. Come on, bud. There we go. He says, would you ever build a 5-star story kit on stream? No. I'm just not into them. I love the designs, don't get me wrong, but they're just not my aesthetic. I would probably never actually build one. They're good for that universe, you know, with the high heels and the dainty proportions and all that, and, you know, the thin legs and all that. I respect the design of those, and I dig it for what it is. But yeah, I would never build one. That's just not my preference. I like bigger, heavier, kind of, I guess, quote unquote, more realistic things that, you know, like Gundam, and, you know, there are others out there. Votoms kind of look cool. Obviously Macross kits and stuff like that with the Valkyries and stuff. Those are really cool. Yeah, I just kind of like more real world, quote unquote, style mechs and mobile suits and stuff. So yeah, I probably would never build a 5-star story kit. That's just personal preference. So Bill says 5-star story kits are a lot of work out of the box, but very cool. Ronald J. Shelton says, yeah, they are. I've only seen it done by Japanese modelers. No, there's plenty of modelers that have done 5-star story kits outside of Japan. Actually, Chris Pabs, he's working on a Yak Mirage Twin Towers as we speak for a commission. And that is quite the task. Let's put it that way. They do make plastic kits, which are stunning pieces of engineering and you know, plastic machinery and stuff like that. But those are fairly expensive. I forget who makes them. I can't remember if it's Wave or Kotobukiya, one of the Japanese model making companies, but they make a plastic 1/100 scale plastic versions of some of the mortar heads, and they are just really, really nice, finely detailed, the whole 9 yards. Just superb looking in terms of their plastic injection molding and all that good stuff. So I have total respect, like I said, for the designs and for the people that make those, but in terms of personal preference, I don't see myself ever making one. It's just not my thing. So Bill says Pat Labor might be more his taste. You know, I never got into Pat Labor or Pat Labor, or however the fuck you say it, right? it's a cool concept, I guess, but I never. I tried to watch the anime and it was just like, and then the kits themselves were just kind of like, eh. So yeah, I'm not too into that. So, but anywho, all right, kiddos. Let's see. Ronald J. Sheldon says, right on, watch someone finish a kit this morning. There you go. Nice. All right. So, let's see. It's 5, about quarter after 5. It's about quitting time. So, with that being said, you guys, if you want to rep the Mecha Army, hit up www.childofmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You will find this shirt, many more hats, prints of my work, all sorts of cool stuff in there. So go load up. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we worked with here today, there's an Amazon link just below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, go hit that up. We've got, like I said, tools and materials. We've got books for inspiration, gear for streaming, if you want to get into that, because now is the perfect time. Go load up on that stuff as well. I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it doesn't increase the cost for you. It just goes to help me out, help out the stream, and kind of further our future endeavors together, right? So go stock up on that stuff as well. And as always, if you need kits, paints, tools, etc., Mecha Decals, sheets 1 and 2 are out right now. They're in stock and shipping. Check out our good friends right down yonder here, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the fine crew down there will definitely have what you need. So, I'll be back here tomorrow afternoon, same time. We're going to jump back into this build tomorrow night. Continuation of the GBWC build. And if you guys missed last night's episode, let me just give you a quick... Ooh, look at that. The border is finished, and the inside is trimmed and all that. So it's looking good. Starting to look good. Anyway, so come on back here tomorrow, you guys. Watch tomorrow afternoon when we pick up the SD build. Come on back tomorrow night, and we'll pick up the GBWC build. So until then, you guys, have a great rest of your day. Wash your hands. Be safe out there. Use some common sense, like so few people do, unfortunately, nowadays. But go build something cool. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye. Actually, son of a bitch. Actually, I totally forgot, you guys. Just real quick, one minor thing. So, 2 of my friends tonight are streaming. Go check out Brian, Mr. Bro Builder, on here on YouTube. He's streaming tonight, I think, at about 8 Eastern. And then Miss Tex Merquise Armida, she's going to be streaming tonight on YouTube at about, I think, 11-ish on YouTube tonight. So go subscribe to both of them. Go watch their streams. Go support those 2 fine individuals. All right, so with that being said, now we're out. I'll see y'all later.